We can start.
Hello, Hoosier fans, Hoosier haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast. And on today's episode, we are celebrating the Hoosiers' win over Northwestern to become bowl eligible and be the first team and one of only two teams in the entire country that is bowl eligible.
Miami should
Here-
not be bowl eligible.
Miami should not be bowl eligible. Hey, Jack, how you
Miami
doing?
should not. I'm doing all right. 6-0, baby. We we up. I
We
can't
up
believe
here.
it. Like I said we were gonna go 6-6, and like that was my prediction at the start of the year. And now, in order for that to become true, we have to lose every single game for the rest of the year. And that is just
You
absolutely
originally
crazy to
predicted
me.
5-7 too, which was
I
funny.
did predict I switched the UCLA game from a loss to a win. And so I could still be right. But let's hope not.
Let's
Let's
hope
hope
not.
not.
Let's hope
Let's
not,
not.
'cause
Let's
that'd
hope
be.
not.
Let's hope not. I
That'd be
predict.
big
I
sad.
Going into the season, I thought we were going to be 5-1 going into the bye week with a loss here, but I'll take it.
How about them Hoosiers? What a what
How
what a
about
game.
them? Yeah. Do you want to talk about the player stats real fast for IU, and I can talk about
Sure.
Northwestern?
So Curtis Rourke, another fantastic game from our QB. He went 25 for 33 with 380 yards and three touchdown passes. On the ground, we had Justice Ellison, 14 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown. And then we had Tyson Lawton, who had 10 carries for 52 yards and a touchdown, along with two receptions for 26 yards.
Before we get
Then
into
on the
that,
rec-
before we get
yeah,
into that, okay, they were on the broadcast. I don't know if you heard it, but they were talking about the running back room calling themselves the Ninja Turtles.
I think we were yapping because I was at Greg's house,
Mm.
and it was like Jaron, Connor, a bunch of altos, and Rosa, and we were yapping, and I think the conversation just stopped right when the commentator said Ninja Turtles, and we were all so confused. But
What?
that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, because like they're all like similar
That's
stature.
funny. That's
Uh,
funny.
it's like who's who in that situation?
Yeah, and there's four of them.
Yeah, so I feel like Justice Ellison is Leonardo.
Ain't
Tyson
no way we're
Lawton,
assigning. We're
yeah,
assigning.
Tyson Lawton is Raphael. Michelangelo is Kalen Black because of his speed, and
Mhm.
then Donatello is Elijah Green.
That's wild that we actually have like the Ninja Turtles as our
Yeah,
running back
and then
room.
we have Waffle House too.
We have Waffle House. We do have Waffle House. We need a cool name for our receiver core. Although it's sad because McCauley's not there anymore.
That's true. But let's get
Ugh.
back on track here. It's all right. Just had
Yeah,
to
yeah,
put
yeah,
that
yeah,
in
yeah, for
there.
sure. Okay, sorry. Uh, then our receivers. What a game for Elijah Surratt. I mean, 7 receptions for 135 yards. Sorry. Keyshawn Williams, 4 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown. Miles Cross had that incredible catch. Oh my gosh.
Back angle of that
That
made it seem
was,
like he didn't get it. He didn't get that
oh
foot
my,
down.
I know. And then you like saw it and he was like, the ref was right there. So like
Yeah.
he saw it and it was just, I mean, the throw was, that throw was
It sailed on him. That's one thing
awful.
I think one thing that Rourke needs to like get better at is it happened in that interception too, and then the first interception in the Maryland game, where if he
Yeah.
throws it long, he likes a high arc.
Yeah. And it's too high.
Yeah, and it gets caught in the wind. It got caught in the wind there
Yeah,
a couple
that
times.
I do think there was probably some wind that had to do with that throw as well, with the cross touchdown. But what a
Hmm.
grab nonetheless. And then Zach Horton had one catch for 4 yards, which was a touchdown. That was kind of funny too, because he was like
Yeah,
stumbling over himself, trying to fling himself in the end zone. That was kind of funny to see.
and Zach Cord had a lot of really good blocks
He
today.
did.
Well,
He did.
yesterday.
I think I pay attention to a couple of those. He did for sure. And on the defensive side of the ball, which we'll talk about later, Jameer Johnson had 6 tackles, 5 solo. Amari Farrell had 6 touchdowns, 3 solo, and a pretty easy missed interception. D'Angelo Pons had 5 tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 pass deflections. And Mikhail Kamara had 3 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, and 2 tackles for loss. So some pretty good stats, along with a Jalen Walker injury, which we'll also probably talk about later.
Yeah.
But what I was referring to that Amari Farrell interception, it was that one like big pass. I think it was to Bryce Kurtz. I'm pretty sure
Oh, down the field
down the field. It was like
with two. Yeah,
40,
yeah. With the
and
when it's a double coverage.
it was double coverage, and Kurtz was just a little bit ahead of. I don't know
Yeah.
who the
Yeah,
other
I think it
defender
was Jameer
was.
Johnson too.
Was
It
it
was Jameer
Jameer
Johnson.
Johnson? So it was, but I know Farrell was like right behind him. And if he like only like turned his head around and saw the ball, that could have for sure been an interception, which,
Hmm.
but again, it's running down the field like that. I'm sure it's
It's hard
tough.
to do. It's hard to do.
It's hard to judge. So, and I know for a fact I could never do anything like
Yeah,
that.
obviously. You
So
just
like
sometimes they're obviously gonna look at in film and get better
I
at
pointed
that.
out, but I don't judge.
Hmm.
So, all right. And then you
Yeah.
want to cover Northwestern
Moving on to
stats?
Moving on to Northwestern. Jack Losh, in his third start of his career, coming off a bye week, had a much better game than he did against Washington. 23-38, 243 yards and two touchdowns, along with
He
nine
looked
carries for 34
incredible.
yards. He looked good.
He looked really, really good.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do with he got a lot of easy receptions
He did.
because Indiana was playing deep a lot of times and a lot of
Yeah.
easy stuff.
A lot of short passes. I noticed they did a
Hmm.
lot of like really short passes, except for
Yeah, the one
one
deep
big
throw.
one, the one deep throw they were able to get. But like, I think I haven't watched a lot of Northwestern this year. Or well, this is the first game I've seen Northwestern, but like what I've like seen, this is like the best game they've played against like a Power Four
Yeah,
team.
yeah. And they had an
Arguably,
overtime game against Duke, but like,
but still, like they played very, very well,
hmm
especially on the offensive side of the ball. They were Cam Porter being back, I think, was big for them. They
yeah,
were able to get that rushing attack moving pretty smoothly. We'll get to that. We'll get to the rest of the offense
yeah,
later.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
holding y'all up.
You're good, you're good. Rushing wise, Joseph Hyman II led the way, 5 carries for 35 yards, and Cam Porter had 6 carries, 15 yards, and a touchdown. Granted, they missed a bunch of holding calls on that
They
touchdown.
did. They did
They,
miss a
they
bunch of
flat out
holding
did.
calls. I think
Uh,
Greg Greg was talking about that yesterday, how
mhm.
there was like two of them or three of them or whatever, and they were just like missed
Yeah,
obvious missed holding calls.
and
But it's
then
fine
yeah,
because they it doesn't matter because they missed a pretty obvious face mask call on us at the end of the game. Like
yeah,
I think it was like on
yeah.
that
It was
that
on the
fumble that
yeah, it
was
was on the the fumble to end the game to like that fumble that
that
was
was
like
an incomplete
incompletion.
pass.
Yeah, but it
We
really didn't
and like
matter
we were looking at the
anyways.
replay and we were like, wouldn't have, but like still like it was a pretty obvious face mask call.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
And but when they were reviewing that, we were all like they can't review the face mask, can they? And like you could
No,
tell like when the ref like came out to like deliver his no no I know they couldn't review the face mask, but like you could tell like the ref like knew like when he was like saying like his like decision that like he knew he
yeah,
knew he missed the face mask call.
yeah. Going on to receiving,
Okay.
Bryce Kritz, 10 receptions, 128 yards. A lot of that was at the end of the game. And then AJ Henning, 6 receptions, 67 yards, and two touchdowns. And it just that our pass defense is going to be is definitely the weakest part of this team.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
For sure.
it just is what it
Pons
is.
had a pretty good game.
Yeah, Pons was solid. Pons was solid.
Pons and Jameer Johnson had a couple of good tackles too. It's just that coverage hasn't been
Yeah, fantastic.
the best,
Pons had
especially in this game.
I think that BSPI call on the goal line there
Yeah, I
that
don't
was
know
dumb.
about that.
That set up the second AJ Henning touchdown was,
I could see that though. Like he was holding him. He
but
was
also
holding him as the ball was coming to
it's
him.
a 5'9" corner against a tight end. What else is he supposed to do there?
I guess so.
Like that's
Because it's
like
the whole
that's the main thing.
yeah. Yeah.
Defensively, Johan, 8 tackles, 6 solo. Xander Bowler, 8 tackles, 3 solo. Theron Thompson, 5 tackles, 5 solo, 1 tackle for loss, and 3 passes defended. Then Evan Smith, 5 tackles, 4 solos, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 pass defended.
Mhm.
Overall, this was a very fun game on both sides of the ball.
It was a very fun game to watch. It was
Defense,
nerve-wracking.
please don't stress me out like that again. Even though I know it's going to happen in a couple weeks, please
It's gonna
don't.
happen. It's gonna happen again.
Because we got the Italian
It's
Patrick Mahomes next week in the next game.
it, oh, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Why don't you go into the IU
The
team stats real quick?
the plays. All right,
Yeah.
so Indiana ran 68 total plays, a pretty balanced attack, 33 passing yards, 35 rushing yards. Or for plays, sorry, 33 passing plays, 35 rushing plays, and then total yards we had 529 yards. It was pretty good. Another game with over 500 yards with 380 passing yards and 149 rushing yards. We were 3 for 9 on third down, which is a little bit worrisome in my opinion. Like that's a little worse than what we've been doing so far this
Yeah,
year.
and just that tip of the hat to Northwestern's defense because that's been their strong suit is
Third down
like it.
defense.
Yeah, well just their defense in general. It's been their strong
Yeah.
suit.
They were able to stop us and stifle us a bunch of times,
Yeah,
which was really difficult to see. But we were able to redeem ourselves a bit on fourth down. We went 2 for 3. So two of those six third down non-conversions were later
convert
redeemed
on
with a
fourth
fourth down
because there's like
conversion.
three of them were fourth down conversions. 2 are field goals. 1 was a punt.
Yeah. So again, not even though the 33% doesn't look pretty, the outcome wasn't that bad. And then we
Yeah.
had 3 penalties for 22 yards, which again, this was a very like not a lot of flags were thrown in this game,
Hmm.
which I like to see. I always hate it no matter what when the penalty flag comes out.
Yeah, because I think the penalties were face mask on a kickoff,
Yeah,
offsides, and then the PI.
the PI, but like again, they all of those, yeah, not
Yeah,
a lot of flags, which is always fun to see.
yeah,
Good to see that
definitely.
the refs actually let players play football sometimes.
Yeah, and it's good to be disciplined there.
Yeah,
For Northwestern, they had 60 plays, 38 passing, 22 rushing, for 336 total yards, which we have more passing yards than they had total yards, which you love to see.
yeah,
243 passing and 93 rushing.
hmm
Uh, 5 of 13 on third down, which is 38.4%, and 1 of 3 on fourth downs, which is 33.3%. And they were 3 penalties for 20 yards, which I think most of those were on the O line. I think it
yeah.
was like a legal snap, false start, and then a holding.
There was a yeah, there was a bunch of O line penalties, like right in a row too.
Yeah,
Do they have any defensive penalties? I don't think they
I don't think they did. No.
did. Okay, that's good look for their defense.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, the defense was very like their defense is good.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the pros real quick. Well, my
Okay.
pros and cons. Offense, just surgical.
What a game.
Two more drives that ended in a touchdown that were 80 plus yards, which thinks that we have 6 now on the season.
Yeah, yeah, I think yeah, 6, because I think before the game they said 4 and we got 2.
Hmm.
So they've always like in the two big or the well, not the UCLA game, but the last 2 games, they've always had a bit of a slow start.
Hmm.
Like that they've started slow the last couple of games, but they
Yeah.
always find a way. Rourke always finds a way to get in his groove, make the throws he needs to. Receivers are making the running the routes that they need to and making catches, which is always good to see. Um,
And we still
so
have only
yeah,
like 1 quarter where we haven't scored points.
yeah, that was our offense played
Yeah.
incredible against a good Northwestern defense.
Yeah.
Like 41 points on Northwestern. I think that's
Yeah.
the
And
most.
yeah,
Well, other than
the most that
other
they've allowed this season.
most that they've allowed this year, yeah. Well, except for wait, let me look.
I think they've only allowed like the most they've allowed is 26 to Duke or 23 to or 25 to Washington.
Yeah, yeah. Hold up, let me look up Northwestern stats. You can keep going on for pros
Yeah.
or cons. I can.
I think penalties being low again is a good sign. We're starting to get more disciplined.
Oh, by far. By far. Sorry to
Yeah.
go back to our point. Second highest is Duke with 26.
26. Okay. I was right with
So
thinking it was
yeah,
Duke 26.
yeah. So really great game for our offense.
Hmm.
Again, sorry, continue.
Yeah, yeah. Closing it out, this has been a good closing team.
For sure.
Like even though the defense struggled for most of the game, at the end they locked it up and thrown away the keys there at the end, which is something that
Yeah,
it was a 3-point game with 11 minutes left in it, and we made it a 17-point win. So
yeah. Got a couple
closing
of
it
really
out
good
is,
stops on defense at the
yeah.
end. Our defense all again, this game was honestly very, very similar to the Maryland game, in my opinion, if not
Hmm.
more of a IU controlled game.
Yeah.
Because like there were bits where IU was losing momentum, but it never really felt like Northwestern had full control of the game.
It would
Where
help if
there
the
were
Northwestern had an actual stadium, but that's just me.
that too, and it also made would have helped that they didn't have like a section that looked like it was reserved for IU fans.
I think I heard
Because
that
it
IU was like seven. It was like 70 to 30 IU fans.
70% IU fans?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like the broadcast
That's
really didn't show
ins
it because like
Yeah,
where the
they showed
camera
the
was,
Northwestern people. Yeah.
yeah, the camera was. It's like right on top of where most of the fans are. So,
No, that was I know one of the altos was there and Bicos and
oh, Bicos.
we were trying to see if we could see him because he went to the game with his parents who I think are both Northwestern alums from what I've heard.
Hmm.
We were trying to see if we could spot him on the TV, but we couldn't, which was sad. But
That's fair. Also, this team's rushing attack was really, really good
mhm,
against a stout rushing defense,
yeah,
who now is allowing 93.2 rushing yards a game.
mhm,
But before the game, they were like at like below 80. Like,
yeah. No, I'm very happy with our running game. They
hmm.
they weren't getting in a groove early, and again, that's been like the common theme for our offense is at least these last couple of games is these first like two drives. It seems like we stall out, running game's not as good. Rourke makes one bad throw somewhere, and like it's like, oh no, is this the game where the Hoosiers get exposed? And then they always pull it together by like the third drive.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, it's very
it's good to see.
very fun to see with what this team's doing. Uh, Pass rush was solid. Forced the quarterback to force Lausch to move, which kind of hurt us more than it helped us. But
Hmm.
for a team that allowed only 3 sacks on the season, getting 2 sacks and 6 tackles for loss is something you really need.
Yeah.
And then my cons, and we have probably a lot of similar cons here. The defense, and this happened against the Maryland game too. After
Yeah,
we score a
that
touchdown, the defense does not have the same intensity
they just
as
yeah,
when we
they
punt
the pressure
or
the
like.
pressure is off of the defense whenever we score a touchdown, obviously, because it's like, oh, we can give up a score and we'll still
But
be in the game. But like you said, still, I think you should try to be even more intense after you score,
yeah,
just so you can gain that momentum that you need in order to pull away. And the last two
and I
games, we
think it
really,
and I think it might be we play very soft zones that receivers are able to get into very easily.
yeah,
That and I think we got to tighten that up, and I think we'll be fine.
mhm,
Give the pass rushers a little bit more time to get to. the quarterback, and I think we'll be good.
Yeah, I agree. So that
Um,
leads into your next point.
yeah, at least the next way with the secondary. D'Angelo Ponce is good, and there's no doubt about that.
Hmm.
But the thing is, the secondary has not forced a turnover all season.
Yeah,
Amari Farrell is a
that's
rover, and he's considered the front seven. He has the only two interceptions of the starting lineup.
yeah.
Like,
And then I the big secondary miscue I kind of want to highlight. I was it a touchdown? I think it was. I think it was the big AJ Henning touchdown.
oh yeah, like when
Uh
Sanguinetti uh,
Sanguinetti like
didn't really get to,
completely, yeah, he like
yeah, didn't
completely
get to Henning.
undercut. He
Yeah, that was a
undercut
mistake.
Henning on his coverage, allowed Henning to like go way out wide, and there was no help on the back end. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a rough play by Sanguinetti.
Hmm. Hopefully, Jalen Walker suffered an injury that I think the last drive of the first half, on defense, didn't play in the second half.
Hmm.
Isaiah Jones and Elijah Hardy are going to be those guys that are going to be his backups that are going to be playing. Hopefully, he isn't out long term.
Hey,
We got a
Elijah
bye
Hardy
week.
had a really good game against Western Illinois.
Yeah, he had a really good game against Western Illinois, but Elijah Hardy is like that athletic freak on that in that linebacking core.
Yeah, which would be a good sub for Jalen Walker, but obviously we want Jalen Walker.
I meant saying for Jalen Walker, like
Yeah.
Jalen Walker
Oh,
is the athletic
gotcha.
freak for that
Gotcha.
linebacking
Gotcha.
core.
Yeah.
And Lausch was very hard to contain. He was able to get, and he has the tools to be a good quarterback, extending the plays, using his legs. I think
Hmm.
he's going to be a good dual threat quarterback for the next few years.
He's only a sophomore, right?
I think so.
Redshirt
This is
sophomore,
his
I think.
their third start of his career.
Yeah.
So
So he's got time, and he's
yeah, he's
if
yeah.
he keeps playing like he did against us, he'll be very, very impressive.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think the one note that I want to make, and this was kind of a theme against Maryland as well, is it's encouraging to see our team being able to respond to when the other team is playing really, really well.
Yes. Yeah.
And we did that against Maryland when Maryland was playing well, and we did that against Northwestern. And it was even more encouraging against Northwestern considering we were on the road.
Hmm.
And all like even though the IU like fans were a decent chunk of the fans that were there, it was still a road game,
Yeah. Still
and
road game.
it can still mess with you.
In an incredibly tough environment with the wind.
Yeah,
In
so
a
it
new
was
environment too, because I don't think any player is used to playing on a soccer field.
yeah, yeah, and it was really encouraging to see that we never truly lost momentum,
Yeah.
even when Northwestern was making good pushes to gain it.
Yeah. Thankfully, we never have to play in that place again because they
Hopefully
have it for
not.
one more year, and I don't think we're playing them
Yeah,
next year.
I don't think we're. Yeah, I can. I don't think so either.
Yeah.
We have to play them at home next anyway,
Hmm.
and I don't think we do that till 26.
Yeah.
So
We don't have to worry about that. But it's
yeah,
also the first win at Northwestern since 1993. So
I saw that.
big
I was
positive.
like, I was. I think they showed that graphic, and then they showed that like their head coach Dave Braun. I think that's his
Hmm.
name, right? David
I think
Braun
so. Yeah.
was 0-2 versus ranked teams. And I was like, why are they showing that graphic? And then I realized we're ranked.
Yeah. Also, Brady
So
Quinn is very daunted. I will say that. Brady Quinn is very daunted. He had
he's very
IU being the
daunted.
team that got upset this week.
Damn, Brady Quinn.
Brady Quinn is
Well,
very
I don't
Brady
take
Quinn
Brady
is
Quinn's opinion into account very much, considering what
yeah.
he did in the NFL.
You got judged by the Browns. You got judged by the Browns.
Yeah,
That's enough for me.
yeah, the Browns. Yeah,
But anyways, my players of the week, offensively, Elijah Surratt. incredibly reliable. I think he's up to 500 receiving yards now and no drops.
Waffle House.
Defensively, I have Mikael Kamara because of how much of just a wrecker he was. And in special teams, I have Nicholas Radicic. He is still perfect on the year. 5 for 5 on PATs, 2 for 2 on field goals, one from 37, which is now the season high, and from 28. I think he's now 4 for 4 on field goals. And
Yeah.
like,
And he's
and
looked good on all of them. Like, I know he was a pretty high rated kicker though, like coming out of
yeah,
high
he's a
school.
good he was a good kicking recruit coming out of high school. So, um,
He'll be a solid
we
piece for
have not
us.
kicked enough field goals
We
to
have
be
not.
in the kicking leaderboard right now in the Big Ten stats.
Nope. Nope. We're too good at scoring tutties.
Yes. Uh, None.
Yeah, I'm just really
So,
happy with how we played this
yeah.
game, considering like this might have been this and the Maryland game both. We could have definitely lost both of those games at points.
Yeah. Radicic is 4 for 4 on field goals this season and 39 of 39 on extra points.
39 extra points.
Yes.
There's been that many touchdowns.
Yes. The second closest is Jaden Fleming with 29 for Ohio State.
That's
They've played one less game,
wild.
but
They're not getting 10 touchdowns in one game.
who are they playing next week?
That Iowa game. Oh my gosh. Can we just talk about how crazy this week was in the Big Ten for a hot sec?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know we're probably you're gonna get to an episode on that later, but I just want to talk about
Oh yeah, Ohio State's play
how
is going at Oregon, so that'll be a fun one.
how Washington and Minnesota be like how did that happen?
Simply
The
put, chaos. This year is 2000 is I don't think it's 2007 fully, but
Not yet, not yet. Indiana would
no.
have to like make the college football playoff in order for it to be like
Hey,
2007.
we have a 51% chance according
That's
to FPI.
what?
Yes.
50, so we're more likely to make it than not according to
Yes.
that's
All right. So,
crazy. Sorry, we're going off
uh,
track.
Michigan lost, USC lost in the Big Ten.
The frauds finally got exposed. Oh my gosh. Thank I can finally like hammer Michigan in my power rankings. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Even though Washington was favored, I will say that Washington was
They
favored.
still Michigan still played really bad.
USC has no excuses. USC has no
No. Oh,
excuses.
absolutely not. Minnesota's not good. Well,
I
I
mean,
don't know about
Minnesota's
that.
solid. They're
They're
solid.
solid. They're better than people think they are. And I think that's
They're
what makes
probably
Minnesota
yeah.
really scary, in my opinion, is they got what 3 losses. I know they lost to UNC. I don't know who else they lost to,
Yeah, UNC,
but they've
Iowa,
shown
and Michigan.
flashes. But they've
They
they've
nearly beat
they've shown
Michigan last
flashes.
week.
They should have beaten Michigan last week.
Yeah. They've got
They
at they've got at UCLA, Maryland, at Illinois, at Rutgers, Penn State, at Wisconsin.
Minnesota
Yes.
Minnesota can make a
Um
bowl game.
they're probably gonna get 5 or 6 wins in the season.
Yeah.
You'd if they I would have like if I'm a Minnesota fan, I would have wanted North Carolina and Michigan a chance to win those games.
I mean, they arguably should have won both those games.
Yeah.
They should
They
be
could
5-1
be
right now. They could very easily be 5-1 right now.
they could have been 5-1 and ranked.
Well, that Iowa game, I think, was pretty close too for a good chunk of it.
Yeah, they're not a bad team. They
So
just have
they could be.
they've had bad luck.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, Iowa game didn't end up being close, but
hmm
Minnesota was leading at halftime.
hmm
So they, yeah, could be 6-0 right now.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. All right, we want to get into bowl games.
Yeah, let's get into bowl games because Indiana is now bowl eligible and the first of only 2 teams, with Miami being the other one, being bowl eligible. Let's talk about it.
That's insane.
So I may be wrong in this assessment. I may be. And
I don't know. It's
I will try to make sure very quickly if I am right on this, but this is from I think Zach Osterman said this. And if Zach Osterman, if you're watching this somehow and I am wrong in this, you could just let me know. But I think the Pac-12 teams
I
are all
think
going to be honoring the Pac-12 bowl delegations.
I believe you're right on that. I think I heard people talking about that. I can also confirm real quick if
So,
UNC if not if dang, ESPN hasn't released their bowl predictions yet, but I can go
no, they
maybe the
haven't.
last weeks.
It's way too early for bowl predictions right now. But
No, well they release them every week.
well, yeah, obviously it's a little too early for that. We got a few hours
True.
before the comp before
The AP poll
AP
comes
poll
out.
comes out. But if I'm just looking at this, if
I'm
looking at
pretty sure
teams
you're
that
right
are
though.
four and above, one, two, three, six, seven. There are nine teams that have four or more wins. Two of them are Pac-12 teams,
Mhm.
and outside of those two Pac-12 teams, two of the Big Ten teams, Ohio State and Penn State, have a good chance of making the playoff.
And Oregon. Oh, Oregon, you're right.
Well,
Wait, they're
Oregon's
Pac-12. Yeah.
Pac-12.
Yeah, you're
Pac-12
right. Sorry, my
honoring.
bad.
So, and USC's probably gonna make a bowl game. They'll probably get.
USC,
If I'm just looking at teams that aren't to have four wins, Iowa can make a bowl game, Wisconsin can make a bowl game, and USC can make a bowl game. So that's probably seven teams from the Big Ten that can be bowl eligible.
yeah. Hold on,
And
let me write this down. So you said so looking at
so like
we got
I haven't looked at all the
Indiana.
schedules. So
I'm
right now,
looking at the Big Ten
Indiana,
standings right now.
yeah, Big
It's
Ten
Indiana
standings.
in first,
They're
Ohio
3
State
and
in
0
second,
somehow. And
and
the
then
only team
Penn
that scored
State.
over 100 points in the Big Ten conference play.
That's insane.
But Indiana, Ohio State,
Nebraska, Michigan.
yeah, Illinois, Rutgers are all four, at least have four wins.
Yeah, Rutgers. Do you want to get into the bowl games real quick
Yeah,
while I
yeah, yeah,
try
yeah,
to
yeah. And for the bowl games, we got the Quicken Lane Bowl as just from bottom to top. The Quicken Lane Bowl, which is would be against the best MAC team that if they don't make the playoff.
yeah,
So like if the Maction team, if like Northern Illinois would have kept their momentum and made the college football playoff,
it'd be
it could have been
against the
the second
second best
best.
MAC team.
Yeah, it could have, but I think that's going to be Boise State. That's going to be the group of
Oh
five
yeah,
team. Yeah.
for sure.
And that's at Ford Field. Beautiful place, from what I've
Hmm.
heard. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl against the Big 12,
Hmm.
against a Big 12 opponent in Phoenix, Arizona.
And that's gonna be that's the second worst one, right?
Yeah, second lowest.
Second
So that'd be
lowest.
like a team that gets like maybe 7-5, 6-6, 7-5.
Dang, I wanted to go to Phoenix. Phoenix is a cool place.
Uh, the Pinstripe Bowl against an ACC opponent at Yankee Stadium, which is why it's called the Pinstripe Bowl. The Music City Bowl against an SEC opponent in Nashville
That one would be fun to
at
go
Nissan
to.
Stadium. I would love to be there. Love guys go there just so I could be there. I don't have to drive that far.
True, true.
Uh,
I think I've also seen us there. This is one that hasn't been on isn't on here. I've seen us be picked to go to the Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana. I think that's like a special one that
mm,
maybe the Pac-12 has, but
yeah, maybe.
for
I don't.
whatever reason they're not projected to have enough teams.
Maybe.
So because
Maybe
of
just be
that,
yeah, and like with that's very interesting. That's gonna be like very interesting.
it
Right now
overflows or
I'm
something.
just looking at to see where we are.
I
But
know the last prediction I saw from ESPN, they had like two guys who predict bowl games every week.
mhm.
One had us go into the Citrus Bowl
Oh, we'll get to
in
that.
Orlando, and the other one had us going to the Independence Bowl in Louisiana.
Yeah, I see that. I'm looking at one from Action Network that predicts us going to the Realia Quest Bowl against Texas A&M.
Ooh, Texas. Oh, that'd be cool.
And next up for the like bowl stuff is the Duke's Mayo Bowl,
That was
which which has probably one of the better gimmicks out of I've seen out of any of them,
the Mayo Bowl.
where they pour mayo on the winning head coach.
Mayo on Sig would be crazy.
And then the Realia and that's in Charlotte, North Carolina. I think that's in a specific location.
That's in Bank of America Stadium.
It is. I thought that was like
Yeah,
a yeah, Bank of America. Okay.
where
And
the
then the
Panthers
Realia
play.
Quest Bowl, that's in Tampa, Florida, at I believe the Buccaneer Stadium.
Yeah, probably.
Um, yeah, Raymond James Stadium, or yeah. And then the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida. And one thing that sucks, I think what sucks about and yeah, the Cheez-It Bowl is in Camping World Stadium in Orlando. But the one thing I think that sucks about the College Football Playoff is like all those New Year's Six games that we could have had, like the Rose Bowl, all that
Yeah,
stuff. That's only in the
for the
playoff.
college football playoff now. I know. What what is even more concerning to me as a marching hundred member who has been like really looking forward to bowl travel like ever since like it's been like a possibility is I saw some college football playoff predictions today where they two ESPN dudes
Yeah, that
had
had
us
us in it.
not in it, only in it. They
But
had
hosting,
us hosting a first round game. And I was like, no,
that is one thing
please
I do like about the College Football Playoff is
no.
that the first round games are in their own stadiums. I don't think we will host. I think we're gonna be in that like
But
12 through 8 if we get
I
there.
mean, if we do host, it would be hype. It would be
Oh,
really,
it would
really
be
hype
so hype.
to have a college football playoff game in Bloomington, Indiana.
Imagine
Semicolon,
if
however, comma. I think
imagine
both of
if
us
we win a college football playoff but lose in the second round in a bowl game and we still haven't won a bowl game since 1991.
that'd be awful. Oh my
That would be
gosh.
awful.
No, 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 no. What I was talking about is we're hosting, and both those guys had us going up against Bama.
Oh God.
So hosting Bama at home
Wait,
would
how would we
go.
be? Would it be like a? I'm
We
trying to think.
better
7-8 game
we
or like eight
it'd be
nine?
an 8-9 game. It'd be an 8-9 game.
I don't think Bama's gonna be 9 by the end of the season though. I think Bama's
I
gonna be
don't.
hosting
I agree.
because the
I don't know
CFP is so
what those
biased towards
dudes.
Bama. It's ridiculous.
They had Indiana at 8 and Alabama at 9, and had Alabama coming to Memorial Stadium for the first round of the playoffs, which we better be like that. I mean, the stadium would be sold out, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
But, and it better be like rocking, but still, oh my. I think I'd be so nervous before that game.
Yeah, I
Like,
would be.
I'd be like anxiety through the roof.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Um, like that's the one thing I like. I'm a little because that'd be the most Indiana thing ever for us to win a college football playoff game, then lose the bowl
And
game
lose the bowl
in the
game
semi.
afterwards.
That'd be the
I
most
mean,
IU
at
thing.
that point, we'd be going up against the top team in the country. So,
But hey, Rose Bowl.
it,
Oh,
Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl.
Rose
Last time we
Bowl.
started 0-6, we made the Rose Bowl. I don't want to hear it. We're going to the Rose
Oh, and
Bowl.
6.
They went 6-0. Last time we went
6 and
6-0,
0.
we started the season 6-0, we went to the Rose Bowl. But looking at IU's schedule for the next few weeks, if because like every game is going to be their own challenge.
Agreed. Every game from here on for the rest of the year, I think, is going to be a tough
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
game. Like even the Purdue game at the end, it's Purdue. It's gonna be tough. They're
Who
gonna
knows
bring
if they have their
everything.
coach?
True. They could after that performance against Wisconsin. Sheesh.
But if we could beat Nebraska,
Which we
which
can.
which we can, and Matt Rule does not do good against ranked teams,
True.
then we got Washington at home, which I think we can win.
Yeah.
Even though they did beat Michigan, they're going to be traveling back and forth. They're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
Um, but I think they have a bye going into the game, though. So maybe
Yeah.
not.
Maybe not. But still, I think we can still beat Washington.
Yeah. At Michigan State, that should be a win.
Yeah.
At home against Michigan, that can be a win. And then we're at Ohio State.
I'm going to that game. I got
And
a ticket.
that's good. That's good. And, well, think about it.
Um, no.
Indiana
I
could be
can't.
11, 10 and 0 going into Ohio State.
They got to put game day there in that case.
And
If we're
then at
10 and
home against
0,
Purdue.
yeah. Unfortunately, I think the one unfortunate thing about that Michigan loss is that even if we are 9 and 0 going into that game, the fact that Michigan has two losses, I think like shoots down any chance of us hosting college game day.
Hey, you never know.
Maybe, but
Like
I
like
don't
if
know.
Indiana is undefeated going into Michigan,
True,
Pat McAfee and Lee Corso are gonna beg and plead for that game to be at for game day to be at Bloomington.
especially Lee Corso.
Yeah.
I missed
Because
him this
I think
week.
he would love to go to IU one more time before he
That
retired.
that I could see this being his last year too.
That would be a good send off.
That would be a good send off him at Indiana for IU Purdue.
Oh, imagine if game day was for IU Purdue. Oh,
That
well, I
I
don't think
think they
it
should
will
do
because it's
that.
like rivalry week, but
No, but like for Lee Corso's send off though,
yeah.
I think that would be the best place for them to do it. Is it the
Oh,
place where he
100%.
coached the most?
But we're biased IU fans, so what we think is right.
True, true. IU,
Yeah, it just is what it is.
IU.
IU. All right. That's gonna be it today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, share on all platforms, and ask yourself, why aren't you talking about the Hoosiers?